Good morning. How are you all doing? If you all could take your seats, get a cup of coffee. There's food to be had. I'm Skip Mounts, Dean of the School of Business. Welcome to 1 Million Cups Brunswick. Glad you all could be here. 1 Million Cups is an educational format developed by the Kaufman Foundation, and I usually have this routine that I tell you all about, but I've done that for 12 months, and this is a special day for us. We've been here for 1 year. Very good. And what's going on, Taylor? And we would not be here for this 1 year if you all had not persisted in coming. Thank you. We want to do a few little special things today. The first is that we have the carbohydrates, crazy amounts of them, we asked prior presenters to if they would bring food. And I'd like to remind you, remember, if you go to our website, all of the presenters' videos are up. And I actually went through all of them last night, and you all do great work in what you talk about and how well you've done. But our first food provider are Sarah and Justin Calloway of Sandy Bottom Bagels. Now, because it's exam time at the college, there's a test question. What is different today about Sandy Bottom Bagels than when Sarah presented? All right, we have a new resident of St. Simon's. This is a real treat for us. One of the things that Sarah talked about was how important it was to get the right people working in the shop because the shop is so small. Employee issues are one of the biggest things entrepreneurs have to deal with, and it was really good to hear her talk about that. Our next food provider is Susan Bates. There we go. Now, she provides us the space, which is great, and she's just a great supporter, a great friend. What exactly did you make? Bacon crack. An appropriate named product for downtown Brunswick. But it's apparently very, very sweet. So if you need an extra kick, that's it. All right? And then we have Kathy Stratton of All Fired Up Pizza. Remember, she's got that pizza oven that she tows around all over the world, and she's a fan of racing in, is it Nahana? No. Where is the racetrack? Right on the edge of the county line. Okay, good. And they have won awards for pizza. So when I asked her to bring food if she could, I knew that we weren't going to get the pizza oven outside to 800 degrees because it takes a while. So then she said, which is kind of entrepreneurial, I've got another product. So what is it?
Well, I have, at the end of every festival, you have some bread left over.
So we have leftovers. Is that what you're saying? All right.
What I discovered was that I could take my pizza dough and make bread in it the following day in the oven. As the temperature cools down, you go right through that beautiful baking period. So what I brought this morning was breakfast bruschetta with our own homemade bread.
Oh, wow. Good. Yes, Susan?
Matthew's bringing everything.
Okay, Matthew Rayford and Javon Sage of Farmer and Lauder, right up the way, are bringing biscuits. And did you make jam for us?
Yes, I've got apple butter and super butter.
All right, that no doubt is made in someone's home, and it's really good. Oh, okay. There you go. That's right. That's good. That's good. So, but you all have to eat all this before we leave, and it'll be good. But I'm glad you all could come. I see a lot of faces from the past. Who's new today? All right, you bring food, and all sorts of people show up. That's good. That's good. So we will have 2 entrepreneurs who will give 6 to 8 minute stories about why they do what they do, the challenges, successes, and then we will have questions from you all, and then we'll take a break. But what I wanted to do was have a couple of presentations that are kind of special for the day. And what I did, I tried to find the newest startup here, so we could have a real first-time entrepreneur who's still afraid. And but I found Abby Bourne and J.D. Dickerson of Coastal Creative. So please welcome them.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello.
Awesome. Good morning. All right, we've got some notes here. There are 2 of us, so we're probably going to be on the long end of that 6 to 8 minutes. But thank you all for having us here. We are excited to be here and to see you all. Okay, so I'm JD. This is Abby, and we are co-owners of Coastal Creative Company. Let's see. 6 months ago, Abby and I were complete strangers. We did not have a business, we did not have a plan, we did not have proper equipment. We were working, working for other companies. I guess what we did have was we had common goals, we had a love for community, we had a healthy abhorrence for working for other people. And we had a passion for making things and for making things aesthetic. So I think that our backgrounds are somewhat important to our little origin story, so I will let Abby introduce herself. Oh, sure, yeah, we can do that now.
And we're going to show you a little video. I'm not sure you're going to be able to hear it, but we'll show it to you. Yep, definitely can't hear it.
Definitely can't hear it. But these are some of the things that we've done over the last 6 months or so. A wide kind of variety of projects.
Yeah, that's okay.
We'll go ahead.
All right. And I think that's it. So my name is Abby Bourne, and I am the co-founder of Coastal Creative Company. I received my degree in graphic design, and I minored in creative advertising. I'm originally from Maryland, and I stumbled upon St. Simon's because a friend from college tempted me with a cheap rent near the beach in a beautiful town, and I said, all right. And so 2 years ago, I moved here. When I first got here, I was lucky enough to get my first position at the College of Coastal Georgia as their graphic designer. I stayed there for about a little over 10 months until I received a position with a creative agency. They did most of their work out of the northern region of the U.S., but I worked there for about a year and a half, started off as a graphic designer, and moved into a position in project management. While I was working for that company, I learned a ton about the daily ins and outs of working for a creative agency, and also what it meant for the businesses on the other side working with a creative agency. And a lot of the things that I saw on a day-to-day basis were slightly problematic and didn't sit all that well with me. And seeing that go down, I noticed there was a big opportunity for an agency who could work with small companies, or any company, get to know them from the inside out and make them feel just as big as anybody else. So recognizing that as an opportunity for somebody who did things a little differently is kind of how our ideas for Coastal Creative Company came to fruition.
Again, I am J.D. Dickerson, and I've always kind of had an entrepreneurial spirit. I'll tell you a little story to illustrate. Let's see, I was in the 5th grade, and I was really into gadgets. I guess I still am. And I was too young to get a job, so I started a little candy company at my school, right? I was the school candy seller. And it went really, really well until the administration found out about it. So they sit me down in front of the principal, and principal said, you cannot sell candy in school. Okay, well, that's all right. So I put on my little creative thinking entrepreneurial hat, and I said, all right, well, they can't see me selling candy at school. What can I do? So I packaged the candy in pencil boxes. Pencil boxes are not, unusual on a school campus. So I did that and learned all about selling in volume. So that was great. It was great for my little company. I went from selling 25-cent blow pops and airheads to $5 a box, $10 a box. So anyway, it was awesome. Let's see. In my adult life, I've worked in public relations. I owned a photography and graphic arts company in Atlanta for about 10 years. Let's see. My wife and I moved down to St. Simons when she was hired in a new position at CCGA. And this is, I guess, where our paths kind of converge. The spot at CCGA that Abby vacated, I was hired for. Because when I came down, I started a little company. It kind of fell flat, so I went and got a job, and it was the one that she had just left. I stayed there for about 6 months, and I guess that was kind of the beginning of our story, and I'll let Abby kind of get into that.
So one day, about 6 months ago, John Cornell, who served as both of our bosses at one time or another, called me up and had saw I was dabbling in videography and posting it on my Facebook. At the time, it was more or less just for fun, experimenting with some new creative things. And John said, I have somebody you need to meet. You've been making some cool stuff. And I said, okay, well, who's that? And he says, name's JD. He worked for me too. And I was like, okay. And so it didn't take much. JD and I, about a week or two later, had met up on the beach. JD was asking me all of these questions about what I had been doing with my very beginning endeavors with video. And I said, I do it on the side, and I'm just dabbling in it, learning it. I really like it. And JD said, well, why are you just dabbling then if you really like it? Let's start a company. And here we are.
Cool. Okay, so kind of what we do. We translate thoughts and products and ideas and events into things that you can see and usually hear and feel and experience. And I think a key part of what we do and why we do it is we like connection. So, we want to be able to connect with people and their products and make films and branding materials that are unique to them. Let's see. What else? Let's see. What's the next thing? Okay.
So on top of work that we've done for CCG, I think you saw a couple of things that we've done. We've worked with College of Coastal Georgia a good bit, highlighting a number of their programs and projects. We initially got in with wedding videography and have worked with a few brides in the area covering their special day and creating wedding films. We have done a promotional shoot for a bikini line that just launched from a local friend of mine on St. Simons. That's really great. Basically, some really random but great projects. And for me, there was a number of reasons that brought the need of this video service from us. Basically, I'm in my mid-20s, and all of my friends are getting engaged and married. And being from Maryland, I noticed that all of them were investing in wedding videography and already had wedding films, and it was like really high up on their priority list of vendors to book when it came to their big day. And all of my friends down here, that didn't seem to really be the case, which I found really interesting. And I figured it would only be a matter of time before they saw a few people have wedding videography until everybody wanted it, or at least we were hoping. And so it's working so far. Also, in the time working for CCGA and the creative agency, I've held a number of part-time jobs in the service industry. Worked at Palm Coast for a period of time, Iguanas. I work with Halyards Catering. So the service industry, I've kind of very familiar with, and I've noticed how much people here value connection with local businesses, and local businesses love having that connection with people of the area. It's really unique to this area that I've never seen anywhere else. Noticing that, I've also noticed that these same established and successful local businesses are often outdated when you look at their websites or their photography or their logo, or anything that comes in mind when you think of a business's identity. And so my biggest goal for Coastal Creative Agency is that we can help really secure a personal connection that can help said businesses feel comfortable making the jump, and it can help bridge the gap to them being able to want to invest in these things that might make them more relatable to a younger market like myself.
Okay, Skip just stood up, so I guess we're running out of time. Let's see. So I'll say same. Yeah, I feel similarly to Abby, and with the wedding stuff, I think that it was my personal experience with a wedding videographer that made me kind of want to do it. My wife and I, my beautiful wife sitting right there, hey honey, we were married. We were married 3 years ago this month, and and she wanted a videographer, and at the time we had a photographer, and I was like, why the hell do we need a videographer? What is that about? But we did, and it was one of the best decisions that we made. We've since watched it. We watch it a half dozen times a year, and we love it, and it's awesome. And I wanted to be able to give that to others. Let's see, early successes for us. Okay, so one big point. We chose to start this company, and this is going to be kind of cringe-worthy to those of you who, like me, have formal education in business. We started without a business plan. And we wanted to do that because we wanted to be flexible. I have found that business plans tend to make you more rigid, and it's worked out really, really well for us. It's kind of, it's given us an opportunity to be creative about the things that we can offer.
A success that seemed to be a challenge at first is that we obviously have a pretty significant age gap. But
Thank you.
But it's actually turned out to be a really great thing because, we didn't notice it because we jumped in and were kind of overwhelmed at first and didn't have the time to notice it. But also, we found that in the different things we're involved in, I can be much more relatable to a 20-something bride and be able to communicate that whatever is needed to be communicated with those types of clients we take on. And JD kind of takes on the role in some bigger corporate things where people might not feel that great talking to a 24-year-old like myself. So we really used it to our advantages. Also, at the time that we began, we were learning a completely new skill set. Although we both had background in photography and graphic design, we were both pretty new to the video scene, and we had really crappy equipment. So we started off with what we had and basically used our skills of visual communication that we already had and translated that to filmmaking, and really fast forwarded our learning of new programs, new equipment, and everything involved in the process.
Okay. Okay, questions? Anybody have any questions for us?
Do you have a business plan now?
We do not have a business plan now. The plan is, we have goals. I thought that Skip might be a little upset about that. No, yeah, we did not want to write one, and I think that it's really kind of worked out for us because, again, it adds to, flexibility. So what we do instead is we have goals, and we say, these are the things that we're going to do to get there. And I think at the point where we find, this is where we are most useful, I think maybe at that point we can build a plan. Shoot.
Hi, how would you describe your brand and how do you intend to differentiate and market that?
Do you want to take that one?
Sure.
Repeat the question.
Oh, okay.
That'd be great.
I think he said, how do we describe our brand and how do we intend to stand out? Differentiate our brand and market it. I'd say from the beginning, the one thing that JD and I had in mind with our brand is that we wanted it to be extremely personable, and we didn't want, although we have big goals for ourselves and growth and success, we don't want anybody to feel as though they can't hire us or that they're the little guy and can't afford us. We want to always be able to have a root in this community and getting to know everyone and being able, I guess just being able to be relatable, really, and marketing our personality and our willingness and wantingness to talk to people and learn their story and tell their story, no matter how small, is kind of something, that's our favorite part about this. So I guess just, does that answer your question? Okay.
Shoot.
How broad is your product line? You talked about graphic design, you talked about photography.
Right. It is expansive. Right now, we are primarily doing films, but we are kind of branching out into other things that we are familiar with. Basically, and this is, again, kind of why we didn't really want to do a plan. We wanted to see where we were needed. So we are a visual communications company. Basically, we help people to communicate with their audiences visually. So right now, that means primarily films and branding materials, graphic design, but it could expand or it could contract, depending on where we are a year from now.
Hey JD, have you protected yourselves like forming an LLC or things like that, kind of make sure?
Yes, we have. That was actually the first thing that we did. So, again, we started with zero money, pretty much. I think we pulled $1,000 a piece just to do things like that, to get a business license and all that. We have established an LLC. We are in the process of getting insurance for all of our new equipment and all of that. We finally had a little, not finally, I guess we've only been in business for 6 months, but we had enough momentum where we felt that we could borrow money to upgrade our equipment, so we've done that, and we're in the process of insuring all of that as well. Yeah. Yes?
For Abby, why do you feel intimidated about your age?
Oh, man. I don't know, to be honest. I guess I feel intimidated when it comes to projects that cost more money, and I feel like people value experience, and although I know I have it, I feel like it's nice to have JD as the reinforcer come through and maybe settle, I don't know, maybe that's perceived nerves on my end of the person. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I just saw a video of a wedding a couple weeks ago that I couldn't attend. Y'all may have done it. It was absolutely fantastic, being able to feel like I was actually there at the site.
Right.
And, but I guess one of the ways I'm gonna know whether y'all do it or not is, do y'all use drones at all in your videography?
We do.
Then y'all probably did.
Lee,
Good job.
do you know the couple's name?
I do, but I'm not sure. You may not be yours.
Okay. All right, very good. But yes, that was actually one of the first purchases that we made was a drone. They're a lot of fun. Yeah. Any other questions, Rick?
You guys
probably shouldn't ask this in front of everybody.
No, that's all right.
I
We're an
guess-
open book.
The new FFA rules and all that,
Mm-hmm.
you guys up to date with all that?
We are indeed. Yep, we are licensed pilots, yeah. Lexi. Awesome, thank you. And we loved it. We loved it.
Lexi's video is on their website, I believe.
That's our promotional person, Ariel Dickerson. Oh, yeah, great. Okay, so I have a question. We are a very young company, and, we've kind of connected with creatives, but we have yet to connect with other entrepreneurs. So do you all have any suggestions for us in terms of, groups that we can join, or, join what? Join Rotary, okay. Any other suggestions?
Have you joined the chamber yet?
We have not yet joined the chamber.
Chamber and business after hours.
Business after hours, okay. All right. Indeed.
I was also going to say that downtown is really starting to come backing up. First Fridays, yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. One is First Fridays, and also not discounting what it actually means to like truly beat the pavement, so to speak. I know it's starting to get hot out, but start your day off kind of early. There's over 21 women that are entrepreneurs here in downtown Brunswick that most people don't know about. So you have a very captive audience as soon as you walk inside someone's space. So if you just take these little 5 blocks here, you have a whole great group of people to get started with. So I would say that would be a great way to start.
Awesome, thank you.
The crowd in the back there, in the corner, kind of a wild group of people back there.
Oh, that sounds like our kind of group. Oh, hey, I know a couple of you guys. How you doing?
The only other avenue that you might find to be a bread and butter industry to some degree is real estate and filming of properties.
Yes, and we definitely have looked into that. Yeah.
All right, a final question or a final piece of advice?
I have a question for them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Knowing what you have available to you in the area, what would you like to see in a company like ours offered, or like what would make you more like what do you want to see in a company like this? I mean, I'm assuming most of you have hired people like us a time or two. Yes, sir.
Well, I think you need more slides. You're great speakers. Gentleman's very funny. I started out when I was 68 years old as a retired entrepreneur. And I've enjoyed every minute of it. And very young, I started out old. But I think you need more visuals along with, I think you need a plan.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I will say that you will need to show your specific skills. Like if you do videography, graphic design, you talk about, you have experience with graphic design, so maybe you can offer branding as well.
Yeah.
Web design is something that goes along hand in hand with graphic design. So you can offer packages to small businesses, because we have small businesses in the area. So you can go and say, oh, you're a real estate agent, I can do a video, I can do a website, I can do your logo. So there you go, instead of selling pieces to them, you sell packages.
And that's definitely where we're going.
It's affordable for them, it's a deal.
Mhm.
Oh, you know what, instead of just spending 1,000 here, 1,000 there, I can just give you all to you and you'll make it happen.
Thank you. Yeah, that's definitely where we're heading. We just did our first one or sealed the deal on our first one of those. But I guess we need that plan.
All right. Thank you all very, very much.
Appreciate you all coming. You all get some corporate swag I should have been brought too. Please, let's take a break. Coffee.